Oh, here you have Jake Tapper engaging in a career reorientation as he makes it seem as though he didn't actively play a role in refusing to address Joe Biden's mental decline.
Biden and new questions being raised about his mental fitness before leaving office. A new book is outlined.
That's not Jake Tapper, is it? No, the book is written by Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson. Now, I'm not super familiar with all of Alex Thompson's criticisms. We are Twitter moots after all. Maybe he was more critical of Biden's mental sanity, but Jake certainly was defending him until it was indefensible.
New claims about former President Biden's physical and mental health. The book, Original Sin, claims Biden's health had become so severe that there were internal discussions about putting the president in a wheelchair after the election.
They started putting aides around him as he walked to Marine One, the helicopter. That was to kind of hide from public view how bad his gait was, how bad his walking.
Yeah, dog, this was September 26, 2024. Where were you before September 26, 2024? I was there. Every American was seeing that reality. Every American was recognizing that reality.
At a fundraiser last year with actor George Clooney, the authors claim Biden seemed severely diminished and did not recognize Clooney despite Biden knowing him for decades. According to the book, former President Obama, also at that fundraiser, had difficulty making sense of Biden's behavior and blamed Biden's busy schedule. But the authors say Obama would come to realize that scheduling was not the fundamental problem.
Like, I feel like Alex Thompson was way more critical on Joe Brandon and earlier in comparison to every other member of the media, many other members of the media. One of the first libs that came out and actually criticized Biden's age and diminished quality was Ezra Klein, I remember. But of course, far before then, you know who was out there in the fucking trenches? People like myself, people like yourself. We all saw this reality. And yet, mainstream media actively dropped the ball.
And I think if you think about what it takes to sit down for one of these interviews and asked to recall information, dates, specifics about things that happened 6, 7, 8 years earlier.
To not know what year you're vice president?
He's got a lot on his plate. He's working on a lot of different things. Anybody sitting down for an interview like that where you're being asked specific dates over and over again, you're not going to remember every single one. So there's some editorializing in the report about his memory.
They were so predisposed with trying to defend the institutions that they just did not make a big fuss about it, and actually would silence people who were making a big fuss about it. Favreau anecdote here: a sharp Biden in 2022, a lost Biden in 2024 is the emerging Dem CW. Basically, that he started fading badly after the midterms, not unrelated to Hunter's trouble. Except this isn't the case. A full 2 years prior to 75% of registered Dems did not want Biden running in 2024. In 2022, 75% of Democratic voters want someone other than Biden in 2024. The New York Times published a Biden is old article every week, if I recall correctly. No, that is also not true. The timeline is messed up here. Every single liberal outlet changed trajectory once Biden's brain malfunctioned in broad daylight in front of 50 million Americans that tuned in to the debate. I mean, I have a tweet from 2019. Here it is. April 14, 2020, not 2019. One truly wild thing that we haven't really talked about is Biden's stated interest in being a single-term president. Like, we're just going to throw away our incumbent advantage because Joe's going to be a vegetable by the end of his presidency. Truly incredible stuff. The unfortunate reality is that Biden's decline is different and in many ways less ignorable than Trump's. Trump's been on a slow decline so long, it's like boiling the frog. Yeah, I also remember duking it out with Libophonics and Fango Libs in the chat, where I was talking to both of them at a time when they were like, well, Trump is also mentally diminished too. And I kept telling them, yeah, except Trump's mental decline is representing itself in like erratic behavior and irrational behavior, but he's still more coherent than Biden is. Biden's mental decline makes him look like a doddering old man. Here, this is from 2019. This is now my favorite kind of lib weirdo on the internet. The one who's like, wow, the online left is terrible because you're not pro finger sucking. It's just a little suck. Joe Biden has been showing signs of mental decay since day one, and that's before we get to his policies. Look at that. Destiny was right about you. Holy f***. He wasn't sucking on his wife's fingers. Why is he doing? Is he senile, dude? What the f***? The reason why we're going down this rabbit hole is not just to say I was right. The reason why we started this rabbit hole was because I wanted to show you that this wasn't like crazy or it came out of nowhere. That was another take that I had, by the way, that once Biden became president, I was like, we're going to go back to Gamergate era politics. That also took place. Anti-wokeness blew the up under Obama, and it's going to blow up again. And it's definitely an area that will make a lot of money for a lot of content creators. Be on the lookout for the pushback from anti-social justice warrior style commentary again.
I did get canceled again.
Destiny was right about you. Holy f***. He wasn't sucking on his wife's fingers. How does it feel to be consistently wrong all the fucking time? It's crazy and so shameless too about it. How do we dive into this? It's because I think a lot of people are behaving as though Biden was already fully cognitively there when they clearly weren't.
A Biden spokesperson refutes the book, saying, "We continue to await anything that shows where Joe Biden had to make a presidential decision or where national security was threatened or where he was unable to do his job. In fact, the evidence points to the opposite. He was a very effective president." Last week, Biden and the former First Lady pushed back against a slate of new books, claiming he was dealing with cognitive decline at the end of his presidency.
They are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that.
The people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us, and they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day.
A Biden spokesperson says the authors did not fact-check the book with them.
In my assessment, a move that was that unprecedented, having a brand new nominee 90 days before a presidential election against a nominee that was...
AOC defense wanting Biden to stay in the 2024 presidential contest. Oh my God, AOC, what are you doing? Every moment that you spend on this is a moment where you're not actually endorsing Zohran Mamdani for New York mayor.
You know, the audio of Joe Biden talking with special counsel Robert Hur has just dropped, and it was obtained by Axios. And the two-day interview, remember, happened in October of 2023. Here he struggles to remember when his son Beau died. Watch.
This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so it was, and by the way, there were still a lot of people at the time when I got out of the Senate that were encouraging me to run in this period, except the president. That's not a mean thing to say. I mean, he just thought that.
What you are seeing here is a man demonstrating how perfect his brain is. What you're watching here is a man who doesn't have a PhD in foreign policy. He's just that brilliant, okay?
What was happening, though, 1 month ago dying, May 30th, 2018. Was it 2015 he died?
2015.
I think it's 2015.
I'm not sure the months were, but I think it was.
Yeah.
That's right, Mr. President.
And what's happened in the meantime is that Trump gets elected in November of 2017? 2016. All right. So...
Dude, I hate everyone involved in this. It is so crazy. What do you think Hur thought when he heard this? He must have been like, dude, this guy has the nuclear launch codes, man. This motherfucker has the nuclear launch codes. Like, that's crazy. You're just sitting there, and this guy that you have understandably said is too incompetent to sit for a trial because a jury would look at him and go, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's fucking demented. That guy's the president. God, and the liberals, they fucking fought me so hard on this. God damn. They fought long and hard. God damn, they fought so much. They fought every step of the way on this.
Why not 2017 here?
That's when you left office, January of 2017.
Yeah, okay. But that's when Trump gets sworn in.
Right.
January.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. And in 2017, Bo had passed, and this is personal. The genesis.
The audio shows that the transcript lack Biden's dry whisper voice and the long silences as he struggles to speak and remember details. Those often were supplied by his attorneys who acted as caretakers of his memory. There's also a clock on the background as a metronome. That's crazy. Tick, Bo had passed. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. This is personal. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. The genesis. God damn. Is this a recent interview? No, dog. This was the investigation that was being conducted when he was president with special counsel Robert Hur. Biden was questioned about his documents and where he kept the documents. This is in 2023.
The book and the title, Promise Me Dad, was a...
Are you sure he's not just pausing to collect himself because he's talking about his deceased son that he loved? Shut the fuck up. Shut your stupid fucking liberal face up. You are not this person. No one is this person. I am refusing to entertain that there is a person like this right now at this stage that still maintains the position that Biden actually was just simply emotional. And what's next? A stutter? Are you going to say he was stuttering? Dog, he doesn't know when his son died. What are you talking about, dude? He didn't know what year Donald Trump was elected. This is why you know every single person that was like, oh, we didn't know he was this bad is just a fucking liar. You know when he's like, you know when everyone's like, well, behind closed doors, he was a dynamo. Yeah, this is the behind closed doors. Doesn't seem like a fucking dynamo. Bro, he could not recognize George Clooney at an event that a fundraiser that George Clooney had put for him. Do you understand? Like, he's known George Clooney for multiple decades at this point. It's not just like random George Clooney, who is a very famous celebrity, and like, oh, maybe he hasn't watched Ocean's 11. You know, it's not like that. He's known George Clooney. George Clooney has been a major booster of the Democratic Party. He was throwing a fundraiser for him. He went to the fundraiser and he's like, who is this guy? Biden acknowledges keeping classified Afghanistan doc for posterity's sake.
Consciously kept after your term as vice president? Is this something that you wanted to hold on to?
I don't recall. Did I have this? Was this in my possession, this memo?
Yes, to give you some context for this, Mr. President, it was found in the front of this notebook that's on the first page, and the notebook was found in the library at the Lake House in one of the drawers in the cabinet.
You don't recall?
I don't recall how it got back. I mean, I don't recall how it got back in the book because I sent it to the president. I gave it to the president. And this looks like the original. I don't think maybe there's a copy made of it, but I don't think so.
It was faxed, just to give you
Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
All right, now I got it. I wasn't sure whether I handed it to the president. It was faxed to the president, which I had the copy.
Right.
Okay.
You had the original.
Yeah, I had the original, and I just put it in the book, and that was it.
Okay.
Is 5D Chess, he knew he was in the wrong, so he played senile to avoid prosecution, and it worked. # Dark Brandon.
Were you aware that you had kept it after your term as vice president?
That's right.
Did you know that you had it?
I don't know that I knew, but it wasn't,
watch me.
It wasn't something I would have stopped to think about.
The reason I ask is it's been written about. Bob Woodward wrote about it in one of his books. Jules Whitcover wrote about it in his biography of you. So that's the reason I asked, is if it was something that you wanted to hang on to because it was going to be the subject of reporting or history.
I don't know if it would be subject to reporting, but I wanted to hang. I guess I wanted to hang on to it just for posterity's sake. I mean, this was my position on Afghanistan. I've been of the view, from a historical standpoint, that there are certain points in history, world history, where fundamental things change using technology. For example, without Gutenberg's printing press, Europe would be a very different place. Literally a different place, because countries would not have known what was happening in other countries, other parts of the country. think about a stupid idea, a notion. Nixon probably would have been president where he used to television, where he's sweating. I mean sincerely. He was sweating so profusely in that debate. A lot of people thought he won the debate, but he lost the debate because of his demeanor.
Yeah, he was there, dude. Gutenberg, I was there. I was there when radio killed or was killed by the video star. 99 Theses, Martin Luther. Not the black one. The other one. Good guy. Came up to the door of the church with a nail, said, "Watch me. I'm going to nail this like Jesus was nailed on a cross." Now, I'm Catholic, so I didn't like it when he did that. "I'm Irish, Jack." That's what I said. I said, "Look alive, Jack." Martin Luther, the day the world changed. Oh, man. Does it make you feel big and strong making fun of a man suffering from dementia? Is this really okay? My grandma died of dementia and you're disgusting? You ain't special, bitch. So did my grandma. Fuck you. Okay, guess what? She wasn't running the state. Okay? God damn. We wouldn't let her behind the fucking wheel of a car, let alone give her the nuclear launch codes, dumbass. That's the reason why I'm making fun of the situation. The libs are still riding strong for Biden even after this audio. Seriously? You're upset that a man speaks slowly when he's reliving the death of his son? This isn't journalism. It's just a hit piece. Come on. Harry, drop this, Harry. God damn. I don't understand why these guys are doing that. Harry, you don't have to play the song and dance no more. You're out. You're out from the Democratic Party shooter brigade. You're done. Leave the grips of the DNC, Harry. Be an independent, Harry. Nobody thinks you're gay no more, Harry. They know you and a lot, quite a bit, as a matter of fact. You can't be out here. You can't be out here behaving like the old Harry. The old Harry people thought was gay. What's the relevance of him? That's nothing. I'm just making jokes.
We're back with former President Joe Biden. He's going to be joined now by a devoted wife of 47 years. Please welcome back former First Lady.
Oh my God, bro. He looks like shit.
Believe me, I do.
So, Sonny, you have the first question.
Bro, this is so strange. It's like out of a nightmare. It feels like it's I don't know. There's like a very weird aura to this entire process. It's so awkward.
I'm shopping in the supermarket a little bit more than I was. Yeah. So, and we've taken the train. We never could take the train before. Yeah. In the last couple.
Dude, what the Dude, it looks crazy. Dude, this is a fever dream. It looks so crazy. He looks like, oh my God, put him out of his misery, dude. What the hell? Oh, remember the piece about him piping her shit? How can I forget? Our glorious president is in great health. He breaks Jill Biden's back every night. The secret to their healthy marriage is how she throws it back. This is how the Daily Mail reports Biden still got it. He's piping her down. Stop. I will not stop. This is real journalism.
But you still have Secret Service. That's the benefit. Yeah. But it also means you're not. Anyway.
Of course. You can't be too out there. Mr.
Bro, he hit the anyway 12 seconds in. I don't think he looks bad. Chatter, are you a mortician? You mean he doesn't look bad? Do you work in the morgue, dude? He looks like a dapper 150. Show older pics. Like as in photos of people that are still alive but older. The only one I can point to is like those random AI generated videos of like this guy in India is 250 years old and it's just like a cadaver that's like barely standing up. That's an older picture, a picture of an older person, you know? Jimmy Carter comes to mind before he died when his mouth was unable to close.
And so we went to work and we got it done. And, you know, one of the things that well, and
Alyssa, you know, one of the things...
I've gone too long. Also, fun reminder for everybody, this man literally was so incompetent and so unimaginably self-interested and so invested in the continuation of Israel's live-streamed Holocaust with his go-ahead and his weapons that he basically threw the election away and handed the goddamn government to this also incompetent fascist administration, which he also was caught smiling alongside of. Like, remember, he's like, oh, I ran in office because Trump is a fascist, Jack. He's a Nazi. And then by the end of his presidency, he's fucking doing ass grabs with Donald Trump's side of the White House. How the fuck did that happen? And I got some smoke for Kamala Harris, too. Up until yesterday, I was waiting. I was waiting for Kamala Harris to say something, right? Because everybody's like, oh, Kamala Harris has a very different analysis on the issue of Israel than Joe Biden does. A lot of people got mad at me when I said we don't have any evidence that Kamala Harris would be any different than Joe Biden. As a matter of fact, the only evidence we have is that she would have no daylight between her and Joe Biden in terms of her approach to Israel. This also contributed to her losing the fucking election. And I held my tongue because I didn't want to say nothing because liberals get real fucking sensitive about this. 109 days since Donald Trump became president. 115 days, give or take. Did Kamala Harris come out and make a declarative statement about Israel doing a genocide in that process? She wasn't running for president anymore. She was unshackled, unrestricted from the normal rat race that you would engage in with your political ambitions. Did she? Because I didn't hear it. She was unburdened. She was mother. She was mother cunt. Why did she not say anything if her opinion on Israel was that it was going to be very different from Biden? And that's what you say to all the annoying liberals online saying Kamala would be better. Ask, where is she? Nowhere. She doesn't give a fuck. Exactly. She does not give a fuck. She does not give a fuck.
And they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day. I mean, he'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at night I'd be in bed, you know, reading my book, and he was still on the phone reading his briefings, working with staff. I mean, it was nonstop. And Joe worked really hard. I think he was a great president. And if you look at things today...
He was a genocidaire and a ginormous piece of shit and incredibly selfish. And not only that, but also his brain is doo-doo. Why the f*** are people clapping
today? Give me
God,
Joe Biden anytime.